is from Don Jr. This one, obviously, this is probably the most rumbles I've ever seen that Don Jr. has gotten on here. This is worth at least one line of low end blow for him. You know what I mean? This single video probably paid for one line of really stepped on booger sugar for Don Jr. And it's titled, "Will my father run in 2024? Listen to his answer." So you can see how he's like learning how to corral. Another awesome clip from Hannity. Guys, check it out. He can't even stop writing guys in there. All right, guys. Let's see. Well, is it going to be an ad?
4, 3, 2.
Yeah. Trump, by the way, word is that Trump gets his veneers replaced every year instead of proper dental hygiene. He just gets his teeth like rotated. Which is why he does that business. I don't think Kimberly will be in this video. I don't think so. We'll find out in just 1 second. By the way, practice good hygiene. There you go. There we go.
We have a very, very tough period of time to come, and they weaponized the Justice Department.
Yeah, they've weaponized it because you tried to declaw it, I suppose.
The IRS. They go after Republicans. We have a very, very rough road, but I believe our country, something good is going to happen. I'm a big believer in something good is going to happen.
Yes, that true optimism. Something good is going to happen. And by something good, he means he's not going to get tried for his crimes.
And we're going to figure it out. And hopefully the people of our country are going to figure it out and fast.
Yeah, somebody will figure it out and figure it out fast. Gibberish.
And the whole pact that you have now is Save America and Make America Great Again. And because of legal reasons, you told me last week you can't answer the question if you're going to run, so I won't waste your time on it. Is that fair?
It's no, he legally could say that he's running, but why? You might wonder. Why can't Trump legally say that he's running? Because at that point, he would have to separate himself from the super PAC that he set up, and he would no longer have access to the money that he gets from that super PAC to spend on whatever the fuck he wants. Because once you separate, you can't do that. And, hold on, it's a wonderful story. I think I've seen it a couple of times today. Let me find this in here. Where are you? There's so many stories that are eating up the headlines. It punched it down to the top. Let's see. I'll find this in just a moment. There we go. Hold on. I'm just going to look it up. Trump Tower tenants. That'll do it. That'll bring it up. Yeah, here you go. This is why. This is why Trump legally, which is a weird sentence, Trump legally. This is why Trump legally does not want to say he's running for president, because he's not going to, by the way. That's my opinion. He's going to be, he would rather be a kingmaker, and he doesn't want the shit that would go with another run. He would have to debate. He would have to go through all this stuff. He's not interested. He'd rather shit on other people, play Monday morning quarterback, and start, being the guy who chooses who, because then he could be the funnel by which all the money goes. Trump Tower's key tenants have fallen behind on rent and moved out. But Trump has one reliable customer, his own PAC. His super PAC has a floor or fucking offices, whatever, in Trump Tower. And the minute he declares he has to separate himself from that super PAC, somebody else has to run it, and there the twain shall meet. And his own campaign has to start gathering money that has to be spent on campaign stuff legally, or it has to give it back or give it to charity or get rid of it. That's why. This is why. Jim Jordan claimed Trump told him he's running. He could be lying. Trump, no, he's lying. Inside Trump Tower, swank suit maker Marcraft Clothes once rented the entire 18th floor, outfitting its offices with fireplaces, mahogany-lined closets, and 2 bars for schmoozing customers. But then Marcraft fell $664,000 behind on rent and went out of business last year, its assets having dwindled to $40.75 in a checking account and 1,200 damaged coats, according to court filings. This is what happens when you store shit at Trump Tower. 1,200 damaged coats. God damn. One floor up, a business school, once led by Kardashian family matriarch Kris Jenner, was consumed by lawsuits, falling $198,000 behind on payments to Trump Tower by October 2020, according to court papers. And on the 21st and 22nd floors, the company that made Ivanka Trump shoes racked up $1.5 million in unpaid rent. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt. According to the lawsuit that the Trump Organization filed this year. But through all that, the Trump Tower has dealt with imploding tenants, political backlash, and a broader pandemic-related slump in Manhattan office leasing since last year. It's been able to count on one reliable, high-paying tenant, former President Donald Trump's own political operation. Starting in March, one of his committees, Make America Great Again PAC, which is a super PAC, paid $37,000 per month to rent office space on the 15th floor of Trump Tower. That, folks, you know all those stories about people signing up to give $100 to Donald Trump, to his super PAC, to Make America Great Again and fight? That's where your money's going. He's paying himself for an entire, to rent an office space, one on the 15th floor. So not even the whole fucking floor. His PAC is paying $37,541.67 per month. The 67 cents seems kind of dickish. And everybody who's donating to Trump's Make America Great Again PAC is contributing to this so that he can pay himself rent in his own building. A space previously rented by his campaign. Now, what's the difference between a campaign and a super PAC? Well, the super PAC can do shit like that, and once you declare, you have to start separating yourself. According to campaign finance filings and a person familiar with the PAC, this may not be the most efficient use of donors' money. The person familiar with Trump's PAC said that its staffers do not regularly use the office space. No one is there. Not only are you paying for his super PAC to pay his company $37,000 plus a month. A month. $37,000 a month. He said that staffers do not regularly use the office space. They walk in, turn the lights on, turn the lights back off. Okay, done. Done my legal work for the day. Also, for several months, Trump's PAC paid the Trump Organization $3,000 per month to rent a retail kiosk in the tower's lobby. The dude's own campaign kiosk in his own goddamn building pays his building rent that he pockets. So donate, come over here, buy a button, buy a shirt, and the proceeds from that will go to, first, the Chinese factory that makes the buttons and shirts, and then secondly, into Trump's pocket to rent the kiosk to raise money for his own shit. Check this out. Also, for several months, Trump's PAC paid the Trump Organization $3,000 per month to rent a retail kiosk in the tower's lobby, even though the lobby was closed. Someone out there, some poor maggot, some poor Trumper, has been sending regular checks to Donald Trump to save America from Joe Biden and the socialists and blah, blah, blah. And their money is totaled a little under $3,000 that they have totally put out there. Right? They've given about $3,000 in total to Trump's super PAC to save America from Joe Biden. And the entirety of what that person gave to the Trump Organization paid for a month of a kiosk in Trump Tower's lobby that no one could go to. think about that for a second. Think about these people. You know, we all saw the stuff about, you know, if you sign up to, you know, on Donald Trump's website, it auto checks the box where you'll make your donation a recurring thing. So a bunch of people have been suckered into doing this. Why do we care? We don't. We're just kind of rubbing it in. But lots of people with no fucking money made their $100 donation a regular thing every month. And then, of course, in his birthday month, a little bit extra. By the way, this is my birthday month. No pressure. Think about that for a second. That person dumped, basically, like woke up one day and fuck, their bank account is empty. Their one-time donation of $150 to Trump or $100 to Trump was a recurring one that was doubled in the month of June. And shit, where's their money been going? It's been going to pay for a kiosk in the lobby of Trump's own building to raise money for his super PAC when the lobby wasn't even open. I mean, think about this bullshit. Yes, and where's Caden? I agree. Campaign finance experts say the payments do not appear to be illegal. No, believe me. This is an Alan Weisselberg production of a Donald Trump film. This kind of PAC has very few restrictions and no expiration date. So Trump is free to spend its money at his own properties as long as he wants. He's running a con, said Paul S. Ryan, a campaign finance expert at the watchdog group Common Cause, talking about political expenses, but in reality raising money for self-enrichment. You think? And by the way, for the record, Trumpers and maggots, I couldn't support this more. Look how happy Sean Hannity is. He knows this is true. He's even wearing Trump orange these days. He's now, I mean, he's doing the same sniffing. He might actually be turning into him. It might be some sort of pumpkin head thing that he's going through. Where's Melania? Last I heard, she's in Maryland with her parents, and that's where Barron's living and going to school too. And they go to New York every so often to see his dad, who may or may not work on the first floor of Trump Tower in the... Never mind. Nice, Luetta. Your birthday and my birthday are the same, and it's the same as my mom's birthday. That's right. I was born on my mother's birthday. Yes, we have 900 people in the chat, just in the chat. That doesn't even include people who are just watching. So hi, everybody. Thanks for being here, especially the folks that are just joining us on Instagram even. That's kind of exciting. To all the maggots and Trumpers, I don't want you to think for a second that I am against Trump soliciting donations for his Make America Great Again PAC. As a matter of fact, I don't even know why you're here. Why are you here? Why are you not there right now, entering in your credit card information, your PayPal, setting up a recurring donation? Please, right now, go and give as much money as you can to Donald J. Trump, his website and his campaign. And I would recommend if you are a COVID and anti-vaxxer, COVID denier and an anti-vaxxer, I would just put them in your will while you're at it. I mean, more than likely you might not make it till the next election. So if he's going to run, you want to leave him all your money and your excess tubes of horse paste. So please go do that right now. For the record. All right, here we go. Let's finish this out.
I just think people are going to be very happy, but that's right. Because of campaign finance reasons, you can't talk about it. If you.
By the way, the campaign finance reasons why you can't talk about it is because the minute he talks about it, he can no longer take money out of that account and pay his own bills with it. That's why. 100%. That's the only reason. Anybody who actually thinks this asshole is like, I have to start officially, blah, blah, blah. No, fuck him. He is stealing your money. And he has to stop stealing your money once he's officially running, and he can't coordinate with the super PAC, and they have to spend it separately. Now, don't get me wrong. That super PAC will be handed over to Eric or some shit, and they'll skirt the rules, and Eric will run it, and he'll still pay for stuff, and they'll have offices at Mar-a-Lago, and they'll have an office at Bedminster, and they'll set up an office in fucking Scotland at his other place or whatever. But he can't just dip into it and, buy himself a fish to light.
I would be talking right now, but people are going to be very happy.
Mr. President, you've been very generous with your time. Thank you for your...
Yeah, he's got so many places to be and so much stuff to do.
Perspective at this important moment. We appreciate it.
Biden drove Russia and China together, the all-time curse. That's the one thing you didn't want to do. And because of energy and their stupid policies on energy, it drove China and Russia together. Congratulations. That's what they've done, and that was bad. As far as Taiwan is concerned...
By the way, he means Afghanistan. And
you never saw bombers flying over Taiwan. You never saw any threat. They didn't even mention...
Well, they didn't have to fly bombers over it or make any threats because they assumed you were going to give it to them in your second term. But you're not. But you didn't get a second term. Biden won, and so now they're trying the muscle side of things.
On while I was president, because
no, they thought you were going to just look the other way, like Hong Kong.
President Xi knew you can't do that. That was something you can't do.
He knew he didn't. He knew he didn't have to.
Very good relationship with him until the China virus came in. Then I changed my mind on all.
Yeah, that's a little hard. We've heard this bullshit.
Thanks. We made a great trade deal with China. I don't even talk.
Yeah, you don't even talk about it anymore because there were supposed to be 3 phases. There was only 1 phase. The phase 1 deal had $30 billion worth of goods they were going to buy. They bought all of $13 billion, and it was all foodstuffs in about 4 to 5 months. And that was the biggest and he's bragged about this. Right after he accused China of attacking us with a bioweapon, he sold them the biggest order of beef, corn, soybeans, and pork in the nation's history, while our own people were starting to form food lines because they were starving because of COVID. $13 billion from China. $250 billion or a $500 billion trade deficit. $250 billion of which is Walmart, and he's going to brag about $13 billion, a third of what the first third of the trade deal was going to do.
The farmers are the biggest beneficiary, and the manufacturers, they benefited greatly, and they're doing
the manufacturers, people who manufacture. By the way, that manufacturing is happening in China. And by the way, I don't know why he attached this on as far as listen to what my dad said about running. Maybe he mentions it again.
Because of that trade deal, I don't even talk about it. Because once the China virus came in, It was a whole different ballgame. But I had a great relationship with him. And then
I had a great relationship until he let a virus in that killed 600,000 Americans so far. Jesus.
Relationship, it was too big. The COVID-19 was just too much to have that relationship. Probably.
Yeah, it was a strain on our relationship.
Caused by incompetence, but who knows? A terrible, terrible thing. But
there you go. It was probably caused by incompetence, but who knows? Well, if it was incompetence, you said they were handling it transparently and professionally. So you obviously bought the competency argument hook, line, and sinker. The who knows part, what he means is it was a bioweapon attack. And if that's true, Donald Trump was the president of the United States during the worst biological weapon attack in the history of our country. And his response was to finish a trade deal with the people who attacked us and sell them beef, corn, and soybeans. I mean, if that's the argument he's making, you gotta follow it to its psychologically illogical lunatic conclusion.
You look at what's going on with Taiwan now. They're flying bombers over Taiwan.
Yeah, you only know that because Sean Hannity asked you about it. And they didn't have to fly him over Taiwan because you were going to give them the place. Very
threatening because they see what's happening in Afghanistan and other places. They see what...
Yeah, that's why. Because we're not spending our money in Afghanistan anymore. That's emboldening China. By the way, China, good luck in Afghanistan. You too, Russia. Have a party. Good luck getting that pipeline across all 12 tribes. I'm sure nothing will go wrong. I recommend you get in there and start spending money and setting up military bases and all. Knock yourself out. Have a great time. I'm sure, yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
Happening on our southern border, where millions of people are pouring through our southern border.
No, actually, you could argue hundreds of thousands are crossing. Most of them are being rejected outright, and not millions and millions. But keep saying it, because, I mean, we're going to be Spanish by, I will be speaking Spanish by 7 o'clock if any of this is true.
21% have COVID. 21. So they're infecting our country all over.
Sorry, 21%? 21% of people crossing the border have COVID. I don't how we're coming to this number. I'm very curious. Let's see. There's got to be some sort of reason, right? Let's see. 21% percent. It's probably on Rand Paul's Twitter feed of migrants COVID southern border, something like that, right? That should bring it up. Border crossing codes, Delta, it's the Tallahassee. What happens? Okay. Well, I know where he's getting the number 21, because if you look up 20%, 21% of migrants have that migrant encounters at U.S.-Mexico border at a 21-year high, meaning that 21 years ago they were about the same. U.S. Border Patrol reported nearly 200,000 encounters with migrants along the U.S.-Mexico border in July. So they're encountering more, which also could be the fact that if Trump wanted to brag about his wall, they have to go to the gaps in the wall or to other places where it's easier to catch them because they can't come directly across in a lot of ways. So you're going to encounter more of them because they're going to have fewer places to cross, and therefore you're going to come in contact with them. Therefore, the number might actually be smaller because fewer people are actually escaping. But border crossings of COVID, let's see if this is, excuse me. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says migrants are bringing COVID-19 across the border. The data doesn't show that. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Trust me. Hold on. That was fun. Okay, good. I have a little mute button. Works really good. Are migrants, is anyone named Margaret crossing the border? Are migrants crossing the border and traveling to Florida carrying COVID-19 virus with them? No. Not likely, scientists say. Contrary to assertions made by Ron DeSantis last week that Biden was responsible for the recent nationwide surge, let's see, and tourists might be just as likely to bring the virus to Florida, an expert on the state's data said. I do not see a 21% anywhere in there. Let's see. That's the Tallahassee Democrat, so probably can't be trusted. What happens to migrants with COVID at the southern border? City McAllen. Oh, we'll go back to the McAllen, Texas story where they put their COVID testing center downtown. Thanks, guys. A makeshift processing site run by Customs and Border Protection is under the international bridge that leads to Mexico. It measures well over the length of a football field with room to grow. So many crossing the border right now. There's no room for them in actual buildings. And with COVID in mind, decision makers believe this is the best option. Yeah, the 21%, I think he just grabbed the 21-year high number for crossings. And I'm just, like, he's just overlapping those numbers. 21-year high, 21%. What's the difference?
And nothing's done about it.
Nothing. We're not testing them. We're not inoculating people. We're just releasing them. Everybody who has it.
Very, very bad time for this country.
You talk about open borders. You talk about the high rate of COVID positivity. We're now at the point where Joe Biden's begging OPEC to produce more energy. You left.
He's not begging them. He's suggesting it on the open market because our oil producing companies will sell it to Europe if OPEC doesn't. And if they produce less, the price goes up. They're trying to make their price go up. We don't want our guys to sell over there and make the price at home higher. So you want more of a supply. You understand about supply and demand throttling, right? Now that the demand is going up, they're throttling the supply to drive the price up to make up for the money that they didn't make when there was no demand. This is not even difficult.
Country energy independent. Joe Biden had no problem changing your successful border policies that were working, your energy independent policies that were working. Now we've got inflation on top of it.
Let's see. Is that the case? Hold on one second. Inflation. Just look up most recent. Let's see. News. See the United States inflation, though. Seeing a lot of let's see. One moment, please. Social Security. Hold on. Why China's facing down? I don't suppose this is the inflation he's talking about. Probably not. China facing demographic inflation risks Japan never faced. Beijing urged to act to avoid, quote, big surprise. China's once-in-a-decade census released earlier this year highlighted the challenges ahead for rapidly aging population. That's a long story. We'll unpack China in the future. CPI, inflation prices on the rise, International Monetary Fund. Let's see. Inflation calculated. United States, that's 2021. Yeah, so Russia's freaking out about it. Inflation surge to continue. Here's 3 reasons. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay, that's August 18th. That's older. Hold on. I'm not finding any new ones. Consumer rent inflation about surge. Oh, the rent inflation issue. That was last year. When American model planning goes, yeah, will cause inflation ready for inflation. Is inflation on the rise? Here's a New York Times on this. But when is this? It's April 13th. These are all too old because we've already passed the arc of the inflation thing. Well,
got breakthrough COVID cases, and again, that high rate of positivity among those entering the country illegally. They're just being processed.
Excuse me, it's not a high rate. It's 21%. Trump told us what the percentage was. No one knows where the fuck he got it, but there you go.
Nobody is being stopped. Where do you see this going economically for the American people? And we got about a minute, sir.
Yeah, don't ramble. And by the way, can someone put a little sign on the screen so we know who's sniffing and why?
Well, you could have massive inflation.
Donnie got a new do? No, this is the same old picture. They've been using this same goddamn picture for years. This is the only one, like, he's cleared Fox to use.
And you look at gasoline was $1.87 a gallon.
Yeah, when no one was using it.
And now it's going to be well over $5 a gallon very shortly. That's going to drive in itself inflation, but food prices are driving it too. Food prices are doubling, and they're going to be tripling. We have a very, very tough period.
Hold on. Let me see that 1 second. Food prices doubling U.S. There we go. There you go. Food price. Here's the food price outlook. There you go. Food price. There you go. Summary findings. Food price outlook 2021. Consumer price index for food, not seasonally adjusted. I mean, we haven't got to like fruitcakes around Christmas, right? The all items consumer price index, a measure of economy-wide inflation, increased by 0.5% from June 2021 to July 21, before seasonal adjustment, up 5.4% from July 2020. The CPI for all food increased 0.7% from June 2021 to July 2021, and price increases were 3.4% higher than in July 2020. So this is restaurants is what's driving this, because no one went to restaurants, so it was way the hell down. The level of food inflation varies depending on whether the food was purchased for consumption away from home, that's restaurants, or I guess if you're the dude drinking half and half in front, before you write a check. The food away from home, restaurant purchases, CPI increased 0.8% in July and was 4.6% higher than in July 2020. The food at home, grocery store or supermarket food purchases, CPI increased 0.6% from June and was 2.6% higher. See, notice that little bit right there? When you're combining these things, 2.6% higher than in July 2020. That's because people were ordering food from home or only going to the market to buy food. No one was going to restaurants. So the point on this was to keep your restaurant open, restaurant food is more expensive. And if the price for the for food there is this much up, then you basically double it when you're cooking it and selling it for someone else. This does not include the labor included and the time included and the combination included in taking the food from here and turning it into food that you eat elsewhere. But yeah. But please tell me, quadrupled. It's 4% higher, not 4 times higher. It's 2% higher, not 2 times higher. There's nowhere where it's tripling and quadrupling. But understand, that's very important that people are seeing that. That's how incredibly dumb he is. Because he thinks 2.6% versus 4.6% means that because 2.6% is 4.6% is double what 2.6% is. And he's not bothering to include the fact that one's from a restaurant and one's from home. And if you don't know the difference between that kind of food and what's involved in the preparation, then you're probably in the hospital from eating raw chicken that's been sitting on a windowsill. So because the 2.6 is double what the 4.6 is, that doesn't mean that the price doubled in that time, or the 2.6 rise to the 5.6 overall is a doubling and tripling where it'll get to 6, right? That's what he's trying to do. It's just lazy.